Thomas Tuchel taking over at Chelsea hasn't quite worked out as many thought regarding Christian Pulisic. He's only had one start, coming off the bench, not really contributing to much. Ali, Don and Stevie still with us. Don, the question that I've been asked to ask is whether or not Pulisic should be looking to leave Chelsea.
It's a real bizarre one. I thought Thomas Tuchel would have played him a lot, unless he's trying to manage his fitness. He's had a few knocks of late, but I think the system doesn't suit Christian Pulisic getting in Chelsea's 11 if they're going to play wing-backs. There's no real space for him. The trouble is, Dan, it's all about timing. If you're going to knock on the door of the manager and maybe ask for a transfer away from the football club, you've got to make sure you speak to your agent first and try and figure out where your destination's going to be. I would find it highly unlikely the Spanish giants would probably touch him at the moment. There's probably nowhere in England, I think, Christian Pulisic goes that's better than Chelsea. The only place I maybe see him next season is somewhere like Juve, who certainly need a revamp and need some fitness and some speed into their team. But there's very few teams at the moment that would probably touch him. And I say that loosely because he's a brilliant player.
How do you explain this, Stevie?
I'd say a lot of it's circumstance and injury. You know, he goes to Chelsea and then, of course, Frank comes in and then he has to prove himself and then he does prove himself. And there was one stage with Frank where it was Pulisic and who else up front. Then, of course, he does his hamstring. Then he's got another long battle to get fit again. And then by the time he gets fit, Frank gets the bullet and Tuchel comes in. So he's kind of having to start all over again all the time. And really, he has to get a run of games. And if there's one thing Thomas Tuchel has shown us is that he's going to make changes with his front three all the time. And that doesn't suit Pulisic. Pulisic was in a position where he was first on the team sheet because Frank gave him a run of games. And unless he gets a run of games, then you wonder if he's going to get himself to the position that he once was there. I would certainly say it's not time to go yet, but it may be coming soon.
But Tuchel knows him. Mm-hmm. And this is the mind-boggling thing, isn't it? Like, maybe you're not doing it in training, but he knows he can do it on the pitch from his time at Dortmund. There's clearly a lack of trust, isn't there?
Not only time on Dortmund, he gave him his debut at Dortmund. And so, therefore, you have seen this kid grow up as a player and mature as a player. You've been witness to that. And so you would have thought that this would have been a match made in heaven, and that Pulisic, when he heard Tuchel was coming, said, hey, yes, sir. But what I would say for Christian Pulisic is that he's not the only one struggling offensively for Chelsea. Yeah. And so maybe you just wait a little. You just hang on a second, all right? You stay patient, and then once you get your opportunity and that run of games that Stevie's talking about, perhaps by then Chelsea's playing better offensively. Perhaps by then you can now really impact the game. Because right now, whoever comes in or comes off the field for Chelsea, it doesn't really matter. They all look the same. And nobody's really all that effective in the final third for Chelsea. And it's going to take some time for Thomas Tuchel. It's going to take some time for this team. In the meantime, I think Christian Pulisic would be better off just kind of sitting still. Don't be thinking about where else you want to be. Be thinking about the things that you can do in training in order to make sure that you're on the field on the weekend.
I'm going to make a bold statement here, but I think he will play in the US matches against Jamaica and Northern Ireland. Those games confirmed for March the 25th and March the 28th. It's now March, so that's later this month.
Oh, good job, Dan.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.